Hi,
Hi,
Kelli.
Dr. Ray. How are you?
Good.
Good. Your heart just pours out when you get emotional, and it just touches me just as much as it touches you. Today is my 9-year coach anniversary since I became a coach full time. And I look back at my posts, my Facebook posts from back then, and I am such a different person since I became a coach, more than just in health, but in mind, body, and soul. And I just need some suggestions from you. I have a very toxic relationship with my oldest daughter. And I've tried a lot of things to rectify that. And there just doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel. So I just wondered if you could just offer some suggestions. Maybe I'm trying too hard, or maybe I just need to make it a little bit more simple.
Yeah, well, no, that's great, and thank you. And I'm glad this is really helping you. And I like to say, you've grown so much. You have to get a telescope to look back to see where you were, right? And that's
For
cool.
sure.
And both that and also what Tanya was talking about. Those are emergent processes. I want to make sure I give you practical examples, and you guys are giving them to me. Emergent processes is when you take something and now you apply it to your life and you stop the repetitive patterns and you start evaluating how I can do things better, right? How can I improve? And journaling is so important for it because you're actually documenting. Sometimes we fool ourselves during the day, say, oh, it was okay. But just like Tanya and just like yourself, you need a telescope to look back to see where you were because you've changed so much and because you've done the work. Okay, now I don't know your daughter, but I probably would guess she hasn't done any of this work, right? So she stayed the
Correct.
same. She has the same repetitive patterns. And in that, basically the same dynamic. So that's the family dynamic between you and her. So that's a great example. And she's stuck in Groundhog's Day. Okay. You want to help her so much because at multiple levels, it's not like it's just a client. This is someone that's your flesh and blood, someone you care about, and you know you could help her so much, but right now she's not open to that. So the only thing you can do is by example, decrease so that, this is what happens. You're here and she no longer has anything to basically conflict with, right? So you're removing that. And eventually over time, she'll give up and she'll either do one thing, she'll just stop, she'll realize that she's not triggering you anymore. And that's what happens, by the way, in the drama triangle where we get going, we're triggering behaviors, we're triggering conscious or unconscious stored trauma that we have, and it just repeats itself. And you have a lifelong relationship with her because she's known you as long as she's been alive, and so basically she has preconceived notions of what that is and what it isn't, and she's not open for you to tell her how she can get better, only observationally. So stop trying so hard, don't try to kill it, just observe it. Ask open-ended questions that don't trigger negativity about her life, how things are going, from the standpoint of you just care, and come at her from love, and that's it. And know that sometime along the line, she sees her mom getting better and better and better. There'll be a point when she'll most probably acquiesce and you'll have that breakthrough, but it's not going to occur. You can't force it. You can't make it happen. You can simply make sure that when you show up, you don't put any energy into that repetitive cycle process. You're only providing love and care for her. And when she engages in that, just let her say it and say, honey, I understand. Remember, listening to somebody doesn't mean you agree with them. It simply means you're hearing them. And she wants to be heard, and leave it at that.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome. You're welcome.